Right now, we're talking about West Ham United. David Moyes, of course, took his West Ham United side, his squad, his team to Tottenham Hotspur last night and left with all 3 points. West Ham going ever so well. 4 wins in the last 5 for West Ham. And yet, in the eyes of some West Ham fans, Moyes can do next to nothing right. It amazes us being Jim White, Simon Jordan and Martin Keown. James is a big West Ham fan. James, good morning.
Morning, Jim. Morning, Simon. Morning, Martin.
Morning.
I'm a massive West Ham fan. Now, the boys that I sit around when I go, right, it's funny because they always moan about this style of football that Moyes plays, right? But I turn around and say, name another manager that has done so much for West Ham recently. Because, look, we brought us a cup, right, in Europe. And also, where we came from, like the managers before him, the Billichers and those, they've never worked. We've had like the managers that have come in have not really been able to grasp that West Ham way. And I hear it a lot, and I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, the West Ham way." But I argue with my West Ham mates. I was like, arguably, he is the West Ham way.
Yes.
Moyes is West Ham. Come on, get behind him.
James, West Ham are 9th this morning in the Premier League. And yet, as you say, they still gripe about him. What do you, James, put the moans and groans down to?
West Ham as a team and as fans, West Ham, we love a moan. West Ham boys, we love a moan, right? I don't know where we'd have to be. He brought us European success. He's brought us so much. He's brought us stability. We're not in a relegation dogfight anymore. So I just rally. Whenever I hear West Ham fellas just moaning about West Ham, Moyes, I'm just like, guys, wake up and smell the coffee and just bathe in the success.
James,
it hasn't happened for a long time.
Just before you go, react to this to me, will you, for me? Russell's a West Ham fan. 4 wins in the last 5. You forget to mention it was against Forest, Burnley and another European pub team. At the end of the day, Moyes is a gutless manager who hides behind the low block, hoping for a set piece. We've got to watch this dross every week. Russell, West Ham fan. James, what do you make of that?
Well, it's dead easy to answer. You've answered it yourself. 9th in the Premier League, the best league in the world. And we beat Tottenham last night. I don't like this. Oh, it's a low block. Is negative tactics and stuff like that. He's transformed the way we play we're a counter-attacking side.
Yeah.
But the way we play with the ball, we've never played like that before. He's brought in players like Lucas Paqueta and Kudus, and so the way we're playing with those players are so much more dynamic than we were before.
James, amazing.
Watch the football.
Great call from you, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Russell finishes, Simon, with, Jimmy, you don't know what you're talking about. And you're Moyes' mate, says Russell, in Great Yarmouth. I went there for a holiday when I was 17. Anyway.
But I do concur with some of their views. I mean, if I was confronted with watching Tottenham or West Ham, I would prefer to watch Tottenham. I don't find West Ham the most... Listen,
better watch.
They're a much better watch.
So
West
it's
Ham,
Ange ball over Moyes ball for you?
Absolutely.
Right.
In the end, it's got to be a winning Ange ball. But I'm a huge admirer of David Moyes. I think David Moyes does brilliant jobs on the whole, where majority of time where he goes, Sociedad and perhaps Sunderland excluded. But the point is that I don't sit there watching West Ham going, oh, geez, this is going to really ignite and excite
No, but you're
me.
an ex-owner. 4 wins in the last 5 for West Ham. No wins in the last 5 for Tottenham.
The question was, which do you enjoy watching more, Ange ball or Moyes ball, insofar as those are 2 monikers that are relevant? And I would say Ange ball every day. But that's, of course, because Daniel Levy's my mate.
Of course it is. John, you're a big West Ham fan. Where do you stand on this? You having David Moyes at the moment? John, you with us?
Hello, is that me?
That's you, John. You're John.
Hello. Yes. Well, listen, guys, what it is for me is I'm a season ticket holder, I've been since 1994. The thing that I think we've really got to understand is most pundits and people who talk about Moyes and how well he does don't go and watch every week. And I go and watch every week. And like you had the guy on earlier saying, it's so enjoyable to go and see Tottenham. It really isn't to watch West Ham. We obviously struggle against any team with any kind of flair, and I think that we've got players that are shackled under Moyes' tactics, like Paqueta and Kudus. We just play so negatively, and it's just not an enjoyable watch. So, yeah, we might be doing okay results-wise, but we scrape wins at the end and it's just painful to watch, guys.
So, John,
and I just wish that people would, understand that watching it every week isn't enjoyable.
John, I accept that. Take that on board. So what would you like to see? Would you like to see then try to press high, try to engage, really go after teams rather than just sort of like passively sitting sort of in a mid-pitch block? And because obviously it sounds like you're fed up with that.
Well, yeah, I would say that it would be a little bit of a mixture of the two. Like you said, watching Ange ball is great, but it's sometimes suicidal. So it's getting that mixture right. And it just seems like Moyes doesn't do that at all. It's very rare he lets them off the shackles. Maybe the second half yesterday, we come out and we had a go. Straight away, we were up their end of the pitch and we were having a go. But that's rare. Usually we come out in the second half and we sit back and sit back.
But John, yes. does last night not put a smile on your face this morning? Does the result in Prague, when you lifted that European trophy, did that not put a smile on your face?
Absolutely, Jim. It obviously absolutely does. Beating Tottenham is really what the West Ham fans want to do, is the main thing every season. But that first half was so painful. You don't want to wait for that first half to sort of be finished, and because at the end of the day,
25% possession, wasn't it?
Time, we're just talking to each other, thinking this can't go on, and he changed it. But
it's interesting.
I almost think, did he change it through luck? Because even in the after-game interview, he didn't really say he changed much. I sometimes think the players take the ball by the horns and think we're going to have a go.
But John, it's Moyes. It's Moyes that's brought these players, hasn't he? So Alvarez, what a good signing that is, by the way.
Yeah,
Paquetá, strong. You can't get the ball off him. Kudus up top. Bowen, he came from the Championship. Moyes again. Yeah. All that good work. Ward-Prowse put his job on the line in the summer, wanted to push. So these are his players that you're watching every week.
Well, yeah, but there is always the case of, how much input does he have with these flair players? I mean, you probably are just thinking this just a negative West Ham fan who's just not having him, and there is an element to that, but there's an element to be entertained, Martin, and as an ex-Gooner, look at what Arsenal are doing, and look at how their manager approaches the games in a different way. We probably just want a little bit of that. Don't get me wrong, Moyes got the result last year in Europe, but I just keep going back to saying that if you paid your money, as I've done for all these seasons, you just want to see a little bit more than that permanent low.
No, John, to be fair to you, John, you put your points very, very well indeed, and I appreciate it.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.